The Greatest Escape, the mission that changed everything. Today, I am covering one of the most unbelievable and underreported stories from Philippine military history as recorded in historical documents. Let me start. Imagine you're a soldier in a foreign land, thousands of miles from home. You're wearing the blue helmet of a UN peacekeeper. Your mission is observation, not combat. Suddenly, you're surrounded. Over 100 heavily armed fighters from an Al-Qaeda affiliate have your position locked down. They've already captured 44 of your fellow peacekeepers from another nation. They've parked trucks with anti-aircraft guns outside your gate, ready to turn your concrete bunker into dust in seconds. Then, the radio crackles. It's your UN force commander. He gives you a direct official order. Stand down. Surrender your weapons. Walk away. If you obey, you hand your life to terrorists who execute prisoners on camera. If you disobey, you are in open mutiny against the international community. This was the impossible choice faced by 40 Filipino soldiers at Position 68 in the Golan Heights. What they did next didn't just save their lives, it changed the world's entire approach to peacekeeping. This is the story of the mission that changed everything. The problem started in August 2014. The Syrian civil war was spilling over into the Golan Heights, one of the most volatile borders on Earth. The Al-Nusra Front had just overrun Syrian army bases, seizing heavy machine guns and armored trucks. Their first move? Capture the UN camps. The Fijian peacekeepers followed protocol and surrendered. They were driven deep into the desert as hostages. But when the rebels reached the Filipinos at Position 68, they hit a wall. To understand why the Filipinos refused to surrender, you have to understand the DNA of a Filipino soldier. From day one, they are taught a truth that isn't found in a UN manual. Your rifle is your honor. In the armed forces of the Philippines, surrendering your weapon without a shot isn't de-escalation. It's a death sentence. They knew from decades of fighting insurgents back home that disarming doesn't buy you safety. It buys your execution. While the UN command in the Golan Heights was demanding surrender, a different order was coming from 5,000 miles away. General Gregorio Pio Catapang Jr. in Manila was monitoring the standoff in real time. He was furious. He bypassed the UN chain of command and sent a clear message to his men. Do not surrender. Defend your positions. The 40 Filipinos were now caught between two masters. But for them, the choice was clear. They locked and loaded. On the morning of August 30th at 6 a.m., the psychological war turned into a real one. 3 pickup trucks rammed the gates of Position 68, their heavy machine guns blazing. The rebels expected the blue helmets to panic. Instead, they were met with 7 hours of disciplined, professional combat. The Filipino M4 marksmen engaged targets methodically. The M60 machine gun teams laid down suppressive fire that broke every single charge. They absorbed mortar fire and vehicle assaults, and after 7 hours of continuous fighting, the score was staggering. 100+ attackers, 40 defenders, and 0 Filipino casualties. But here's the catch. Ammunition isn't infinite. By sunset, the Filipinos were running out of magazines. No relief was coming from the UN, and the rebels were regrouping for a final assault at dawn. The 40 men had one option left. They had to disappear. But how do you escape when you're surrounded by over 100 terrorists who can hear a pin drop in the desert night? You can't drive your white UN trucks. The engine noise would be a death warrant. You can't fight your way out. You don't have enough bullets. At exactly midnight, the greatest escape began. The 40 Filipinos stripped down to the essentials. No helmets, no body armor, nothing that could rattle or catch the light. They unlatched the rear gate and stepped out into a freezing desert night. This wasn't just any ground. It was a tactical nightmare filled with decades of landmines from past Arab-Israeli wars. One wrong step, and the mission was over. They moved in single file, each man stepping exactly where the man in front had stepped. No one spoke. For nearly 2 hours, they navigated 2 kilometers of mine-filled no man's land, literally walking between the campfires of the rebel positions. They could hear the voices of the terrorists in the dark. When the sun came up, the Al-Nusra Front kicked down the gates of Position 68, expecting to find 40 exhausted prisoners. Instead, they found an empty camp. The Filipinos had vanished. All 40 men were safely behind UN lines at Camp Ziwani, weapons still in hand. The fallout was immediate and explosive. The UN force commander demanded a court-martial for insubordination, but the Philippine government stood firm. They refused to punish their men for choosing survival and dignity over a flawed surrender policy. The Golan Heights standoff changed everything because it exposed a fatal flaw in international peacekeeping. It proved that when institutional command authority collides with the survival of the soldier's instinct to hold the line is what ultimately brings everyone home. This mission redefined what it means to wear the blue helmet. It taught the world that a peacekeeper is still a warrior and a rifle is the final guarantee of a soldier's dignity. It showed that even when you are outnumbered 25-1, terrain, tactics, and the refusal to break can overcome any empire or terrorist group. From the beaches of Mactan to the hills of Korea and the streets of Marawi, the Filipino soldier has a legacy of doing the impossible. They are the students who became the teachers, showing even the most advanced militaries in the world how to innovate under fire. Whether it's the 900 men who held off 40,000 in Yultong or a single sniper ending a 5-month siege with one shot, the message is always the same. Filipinos don't surrender. They hold the line. If you want to see more stories of the warriors who changed history with nothing but grit and ingenuity, hit that subscribe button. The world needs to know what happens when you tell a Filipino soldier to back down, and they say no. Thank you very much for subscribing to our channel, the Knowledge Vault Center, commenting and liking our videos. God bless. Thunas.